or like people haven't gone home and there's nothing to do.
But the best place for debates was
oh Lord,
under the Hemi statue.
Oh Lord, Lord.
When you come and we have removed our shirts.
Oh Lord,
and we are sitting there delivering.
But you see, that also
we honed our skills there.
For certain skills like law and journalism, those things help because it helps you think on your feet, helps you refine your argument. And for me, sometimes just listening to people argue, you can learn a lot about people and stuff like that. So anyway, welcome to the show. Good morning, Kojo, as well.
Good morning, Bernard. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So we have a lot of interesting stories today. I was saying to myself, this is the first day in a long time that the lead stories are not COVID related. And I want to use that as a point of contact to say COVID is coming to an end.
Amen.
Yeah, we are moving to a post-COVID era.
Amen.
Things are going to get back to better.
Amen.
They won't get back to normal, they'll get back to better.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
Yeah, so Kojo, front page of Ghanaian Times, what's there?
COVID is on the front page.
No, I want the new one.
There is a picture of Mr. William Tevye Tete and Mr. Boafo Bonny, and the headline that accompanies those pictures: NCA $4 million financial loss case, 3 former appointees jailed 16 years. Ghana's COVID-19 cases rise to 5,127. 10 areas declared hotspots. Auditor General found guilty of contempt, and President Akufo-Addo commissions new Douala barracks at Burma camp.
Front page of the Daily Graphic has the same big story from the court. Boafo Bonny, Tevye Alhaji Osman jailed, court orders confiscation of assets. Professor Mensa Wozu Kulendi sailed through vetting is here. Vice President launches integrated ICT system for Maslok, and Dom Level found guilty of contempt.
Now, if you go to the Finder front page, soldiers get new houses, more nearing completion as part of barracks regeneration project. President Akufo-Addo. 3 jailed over $4 million NCA fraud as anti-corruption fight takes shape. Domelevo found guilty of contempt in Osafo Mafo's $1 million crow case. Cabinet retreat, government prioritizes health, roads and industry, and COVID-19 infection spike in Obuasi.
Front page of the Daily Guide newspaper still goes with the big story from the courts, the NCA matter, but also COVID-19 cases soar is here. I'll be fair to all, says nominee, and December elections will come on, says the government.
Yes, and that is also on the front page of the Chronicle. Akufo-Addo won't stay beyond mandate. Election will come on December 7 upon Kroma. We can't force government to implement our report, Henrietta Mensah. So this was at the vetting yesterday. Boafo Bonny jailed 6 years. Akufo-Addo provides housing for the military, and illegal fuel business booms on Western Central High Seas.
When you go to the front page of the Herald, it says NCA trial judge leaves legal brains confused as he convicts 3 but sets free businessman with the money. Auditor General scratched on mission to retrieve $1 million.
Now, the new crusading guide, the Kotika International Airport disinfection saga. Guta descends on Ghana Airport Company Limited boss for unduly delaying the installation of disinfection systems. Akufo-Addo's daughters built state-of-the-art autism center. VP Baumia launches Maslok's digital system. An NCA trial. Boafo Bonny, William Tevye, 1 other jailed 16 years.
Front page of the BNFT newspaper: high seas, illegal fuel trade rising. Maritime authority seeks power to seize, destroy these boats. State losing revenue as environment gets polluted. On digital payment, telcos, fintechs to follow gaps in reintroducing fees on all Momo transactions. Players say move to ensure sustainability of operations, but Bankers Association oppose the move. And on COVID-19, it says not an excuse for government to overstay its first term.
Now, the Gold Street business. Criteria for 600 million cedi stimulus disbursement nearly ready. Ghana Exim Bank to issue bonds to increase financing, diversify funding sources. Secondary bond market attracts more investors. Investors exploiting attractive deals across the various maturities on the secondary bond market. And transformers for Pokuase BSP project arrive in Ghana. There's also an analysis of COVID-19 and its impact on Ghana's banking industry. You may want to read that. And GIFS is also resuming the Momo interoperability charges from May 23.
Which policy people are kicking against.
Yes.
In fact, that story is the lead story on citibusinessnews.com. Review decision to reintroduce fees on electronic transactions, bankers to GIPS. Also, Ghana's economy couldn't withstand partial lockdown beyond 3 weeks. This is Oforiata. Ghana's economy couldn't withstand partial lockdown beyond 3 weeks. Other story, 70% of car rental workers asked to go home temporarily.
Wow.
And NBSSI can't disburse and recover 600 million CD SME loan effective. This is Dalex, CEO, speaking. CityNewsroom.com. Ghana can't forgo 2020 polls despite COVID-19. This is Mark Menu, who you spoke to yesterday. Also, Pioneer Food Cannery say we are cooperating with Health Ministry after staff infections. Other stories: Papa Usu Ankoma recovers from COVID-19 in UK.
Good news.
And two big stories from yesterday's vetting. Kulendi advocates for abolition of death penalty. Mensa Bonsu denies being offered EC job. And then there's a last one, which I'll just give you here, that Ghana names, or GHS names 10 COVID-19 hotspots within Greater Accra and Ashanti. Now, we couldn't discuss that yesterday, but it came up big. MyJoyOnline.com. I feel hunted by Martin Amidu. This is Mahama Ayariga. They have the government rejecting portions of Ayabaso report does not question our competence. That's Mensa Bonsu. She also advocates for more prisons. And then High Court finds Auditor General guilty of contempt. That story is also making the rounds. Now, I'm going to take you on a quick trip across the world. BBC's lead story is saying that Twitter says staff can work from home forever. Staff can work.
Google have told their staff to work till end of year.
Which
home. Facebook and Google.
Twitter says forever and ever.
Amen.
It's good.
Now, the other story, UK's economy shrinks at fastest pace since 2008. Fastest pace since 2008. And the US top infection disease Dr. Fauci warns of needless suffering and death if states reopen too soon.
Yesterday, him and Rand Paul,
it was serious. And they were doing it by social distance. Now, there's a very troubling one on CNN. COVID-19 hits the whole body. Guys, COVID-19 hit the whole body. Doctors treating coronavirus patients are seeing a range of odd and frightening syndromes. So it's not restricted to the chest areas. Yeah. Putin's coronavirus crisis deepens. Russia now has the second largest number of cases. It's almost like US number 1, Russia number 2 now. And then there's a very interesting report about prices tumbling in the US at an alarming rate. Whether we should be happy about that or not, I'm not sure. Now let me take you to various parts of Africa. Nigeria say that they will subject Madagascar's cure to regulatory processes before use. Okay, even though yesterday they said that they were going to use it, they said they will subject it to treat. Now that's the channels. If you go to South Africa, the Mail and Guardian says there is no miracle cure. So basically, their lead story is that question marks around Madagascar's COVID-19 miracle cure, and they've done a whole analysis on it, talking to all kinds of experts in their country. Okay, now if you go to East Africa, M7 Museveni says it's madness to hold Uganda vote if virus persists. So whilst our people are saying we have to vote, he who's been in power since 86, he said he wouldn't do any vote.
M7 there, we know him.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. As Kenya's case still reaches 715, let me take you to South China. US-China virus dispute prompts Beijing hawks to ramp up trade deal criticism. So there's a lot of geopolitics in the South China Morning Post. All right, so let's do some other stories.
Okay, let's start from the stimulus.
You believe COVID-19 is coming to an end.
Oh, I know.
We join ourselves to that hope.
Fantastic.
And that prayer. So we'll give you a story that is related to how businesses can restart after COVID-19.
Okay.
Criteria for 600 million Ghana cedi stimulus disbursement nearly ready. This is the Gold Street business.
All right.
The story says the government and key stakeholders in the private sector are mapping out distribution criteria for the 600 million Ghana cedi stimulus package earmarked for micro and small businesses in the country. This is to ensure that the most deserving businesses get access to the package, aimed at reigniting the Ghanaian economy after the adverse effects of COVID-19.
All right.
Determination of the criteria is expected to be completed soon to enable distribution of the package to begin. The criteria, according to industry analysts, will also specify the maximum as well as minimum amounts an entity can receive under the package. The loan package, which comes with a 1-year moratorium and 2-year repayment period, is expected to ease some of the burden on the operations of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in the country. Already, the National Board for Small-Scale Industries has developed an online portal to enable businesses access the 600 million Ghana cedi package. So
before they even start sharing it, Ken Thompson of Delex says he wants government to reconsider the decision to allow the NBSSI to disburse the stimulus package. According to him, financial institutions are in a better position to disburse the money efficiently and ensure its full recovery. So basically, he's saying that the state agency like NBSSI cannot do this. Ken Thompson told Citi Business News that NBSSI is not the right vehicle to disburse the money. Here's a quote. The organization that has the most extensive connection with small businesses are the financial institutions such as the microfinance companies, rural banks, savings and loans companies, and finance houses recruited by the banks. Are you telling me that the NBSSI has more experience in lending to these small businesses than those I've mentioned? He asked. Now, since you're on the economy, there's a very interesting one from Ken Oforiata. He says, Ghana's economy couldn't withstand the partial lockdown beyond 3 weeks.
Tell me more.
Finance Minister Ken Oforiata has admitted that it was impossible for government to have continued the partial lockdown imposed on Accra, Tema, Kaso and Kumasi beyond the 3 weeks announced by the president. According to him, the Ghanaian economy, which is largely informal, cannot sustain that decision beyond 3 weeks. Speaking at an event at the Jubilee House, the finance minister said it was necessary to lift the lockdown. Quoting him, when you look at what happened during the lockdown, it was quite clear that after a point, that given that 90% of our population is informal and that they go out each day to earn wages, it became increasingly impossible to continue with such a policy. So at least the cat is out of the bag. It was more the economics than the
science,
than the epidemiology.
Well, the economics is also a science.
Sorry. Yes.
Yes. No, I mean basically saying that. So he's saying that, and he also
but in the context.
Yeah.
So other things he said, Ghana will record a significant drop in revenue target for 2020 due to COVID-19 because the country is recording huge decline in revenue from the port, petroleum receipts, as well as tax revenue, and that the cumulative effect of the novel coronavirus pandemic will cost Ghana 9.5 billion cedis so far.
You know the thing I like about Ken, when you catch him like that and he's talking, he's very candid about numbers.
He'll tell you the truth. Yeah, that one's true.
But then others will come and sprinkle something in the thing he has said.
No, he's doing economics.
Well, since you're talking the money matters, let me give you just one story about GIPS. The Momo interoperability charges are coming back from May 23. GIPS has issued instructions to the financial services institutions to restore the charges. And one of the key measures in this particular strategy was that all Momo transfers up to 100 cedis were for free, excluding cash out.
Across networks?
Yes, so it means that when it's withdrawn, people will start paying.
But the Association of Bankers is not happy.
Yeah, they are not happy with that. And if you go to page 2 of the BNFT, it says that even as GIPS, telcos and fintechs look to stop the fees waiver, the Ghana Association of Bankers has described the GIPS decision as unilateral and bad for the image of the banking sector. The association has therefore called for halting the decision until a firm conclusion is arrived at after a meeting with GIPS and the governor of the Bank of Ghana. Now, in a letter, Bernard quotes, I'm reading sections of it for you. While we share in the expression of financial burden being borne by our actors in the financial services sector who have implemented various forms of concessions during the pendency of COVID-19, we do not agree with any unilateral withdrawal of waivers contrary to pronouncements made to the public.
Can you take me to the court places?
Yes.
So there's two stories, the Dome level 1, the contempt one, and then of course the William Tevier NCA one. I think I just give us a quick
Finder
overview.
has the NCA story.
Let's go there.
It says Eugene Boafo, a former board chairman of the National Communication Authority, indicted with 2 others over the fraudulent purchase of a $4 million cyber security equipment, have been and convicted and sentenced to various jail terms by an Accra High Court. Boafo used to serve 6 years, a 6-year jail term, while William Matthew Tetetevier, former Director General of the NCA, and Alhaji Osman Mimina, former National Security Coordinator and a chief, were to serve 5 years imprisonment each on the charges of conspiracy and woefully causing financial loss to the state.
Now, still on court cases.
Yeah, well, on that, the Herald has an interesting angle on that. They say the NCA trial judge leaves legal brains confused. And according to them, interestingly, the court presided over by Justice Eric Boafo acquitted the 5th accused person, George Derek Opon, who the prosecution admits was paid the money and is allowed to keep the money, but the same money must be recovered from the first, second, and fourth accused persons, leaving many legal brains confused. Now,
we don't know whether he was working for the state,
or not.
Probably he was the one doing the buying.
Now, if you go to page 3,
selling, I should say.
Yeah, page 3 of the Daily Guide, the Dom Level story is there.
Okay.
Auditor General Daniel Dom Level yesterday escaped prison sentence by a whisker due to the COVID-19 pandemic. He was found guilty of contempt of court after he had refused to file his response to an appeal challenging his decision to surcharge Senior Minister Yaosafo Boafo and 4 officials of the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning. In this judgment, the court held that the Auditor General's failure to respond to an appeal against his decision to disallow and surcharge the Senior Minister and others within 14 days, as stipulated by law, constituted a contempt of court.
Let me take you to page 2 of the Finder. Soldiers get new houses. This story is on a lot of the front pages. Now the story says President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo has commissioned a 64-unit apartment as part of the barracks regeneration project aimed at addressing the accommodation and infrastructural challenges facing the Ghana Armed Forces. And the paper says that this project is also ongoing in Tamale and other garrisons. And according to the president, at the maiden Wassa in March 2017, he assured the officers of the Ghana Armed Forces that one of his most important duties was to see to their welfare, and the provision of the housing is part of their welfare. But Bernard, what lessons can we learn from how this project has been executed for affordable housing in Ghana? This promise was made in 2017. In 2020, they have 64 apartments to house 64 families. What lessons can we learn from this?
Good question. Let me take you to 2 positives. So, Papa Owusu Nkrumah recovers from coronavirus in the UK. This is a good one. Ghana's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom and Ireland, Papa Owusu Nkrumah, has recovered after being infected with the novel coronavirus. Making the announcement on Tuesday, May 12, Mr. Nkrumah described his recovery as a blessing from the horrific effects of COVID-19. He was in April 2020 diagnosed with the virus and was said to have been in stable condition despite reports that he was receiving treatment at the intensive care unit at a hospital. But a statement from the diplomat said he is now free of the virus. Here's a quote: "I'm reaching out to you today as the world fights a significant battle against coronavirus pandemic. As most of you are aware, I tested positive and was admitted to the Royal Free Hospital in London in April 2020. I count myself blessed to have been counted among those living today based on my recovery from the horrific effects of the virus." Papa Owusu Nkrumah.
Well, from a positive to a negative, Bernard, a story that is making it big on the front page of the BNFC and also the Daily Graphic. Maritime security seizes 10 canoes in illegal oil bunkering. Lord. And it's also the front page of the BNFT. High seas illegal fuel trade rising. Let me give you the back page of the Daily Graphic. That's shorter. Maritime security operation to crack down on illegal oil bunkering along the coast of the western and the central regions has led to the seizure of 10 large canoes. The operation, which took place last Friday, involved the Marine Police Unit, the Ghana Navy, and the Ghana Maritime Authority. The Director General of the GMA, Mr. Thomas Kofi Alonsi, who led the operation to impound the canoes, said one of the canoes contained fuel that could fill 3 road fuel tankers that carry 18,000 liters each. Business power. He also said that 20 people who were arrested on board the canoes had been granted police inquiry. But if you look at the highlights of the story, Bernard, basically what is happening is that the western and central regions have several natural ports where the sea is calm, which helps illegal fuel dealers to berth and pump fuel into standby tankers for the market.
Let me give you just a quick COVID-19 one. Ghana Health Service has named 10 areas it describes as hotspots for the coronavirus in the Greater Accra and Ashanti regions. In a presentation at the press briefing yesterday, DG of GHS, Patrick Boateng, said Tema in the Greater Accra region was currently the main hotspot. 89 new cases, from 40 from routine surveillance, 49 from enhanced contact tracing were recorded in the most recent update. Ashanti region has Obuasi as the main hotspot, township recording 277 new infections. And then here are the places: Tema Metropolis, Klote, yes, this place, Osu Adabraka, Accra Metropolis, Kumasi Metro, Kwadaso, Siame, Ofori Krom, Aboaso, and Obuasi. So these are the 10 hotspots. Now I wanted you to take me to yesterday's vetting. I thought some nice headlines came from there. Mensa Bonsu, Yodi Kulendi.
So page 14 of the Ghanaian Times. No ceiling on Supreme Court judges. Yoni Kolendi. If you check page 4 of the Finder, Yoni Kolendi calls for reforms in legal education.
I like that one. Give me that one.
Now that story says a Supreme Court Justice nominee, Emmanuel Yoni Kolendi, has called for reforms in the country's legal education system. Speaking at his vetting yesterday, Mr. Kolendi, who also serves as an examiner of the Ghana School of Law, said reforms must take into consideration the country's population size as well as the increased appetite for legal education. And they give us a background that consistent mass failures recorded in exams at the Ghana Law School, coupled with challenges in gaining admission to the school, have triggered calls for serious reforms in legal education in Ghana.
Which of Mensabi's quotes caught your attention in the vetting? She said quite a few things as well.
Yeah, you have those stories. All my stories have to do with Unique, but I must
I have a few Mensabis here. She's saying the Short Commission was not responsible for implementing the AWW report. She denies being ever offered the EC job. That speculation was all over the place.
Yes.
And then she says the best things in life ought to be free. That was a classic quote.
But Charlie, the two people yesterday.
Open-minded.
No, I think yesterday tells us that in Ghana there's still hope for us. We have some very, very intelligent, competent, and patriotic people.
If we allow them to work,
that's the whole story. Now let me do a few quick things around the EC thing. So yesterday we spoke to McMenu. Ghana can't forgo 2020 polls despite COVID-19 outbreak. This story says the leader of the governing party's campaign team, Peter McMenu, who's a former chairman of the party, says Ghana has no option than to go to the polls in December 2020 regardless of COVID-19. Now, the conduct of the polls remains uncertain given the fact that many of the electoral activities in the build-up have been put on hold as a result of the pandemic. Mr. McMenu, however, believes that we have to vote. You know, the story says while many cast doubts on the ability of the EC to compile a new register ahead of the election, the national chairman of the campaign for NPP says Ghana has no other way to avoid the poll since the constitution does not make room for that. He was speaking on Face to Face, a program hosted by Godfred, Akoto, Boafo, which aired on Tuesday at 9 p.m.
And on this story, Kojo Aponkoma says Akufo-Addo won't stay beyond mandate and that elections will be held this year on December 7. This is Chronicle page 3. It says the Akufo-Addo-led government does not intend to extend its constitutional stay in office in the event that the novel coronavirus prevents the holding of the upcoming presidential election. According to Minister of Information, if for nothing at all, the government is not planning to hide behind the pandemic to seek an extension of its first term mandate without a credible election. Yesterday, Kojo Aponkoma seized the opportunity at a sector series of briefings to clear the air on the matter, which has ignited a perpetual flame of comment.
Quick one on another good one here. Immigration officers who rejected bribe from illegal immigrants promoted. That's a good one for all of us. 6 junior officers of Ghana Immigration Service have been promoted for their dedication to duty in the fight against the coronavirus disease in Ghana. According to a statement from the service, the 6 included 5 officers who rejected a 1,900 cedi bribe offered by Burkinabe immigrants who were arrested for entering the country illegally. They were serving under the Northern Regional Immigration Command. May 3 intercepted and arrested the Burkinabe at the Savelugu Inland Immigration Checkpoint after the foreign nationals entered the country illegally through unapproved routes on the northern frontiers. And then the 6th officer was promoted for putting his life on the line and sustaining gunshot wounds while pursuing smugglers at the Hamile border post where he was deployed for Operation Conquered Fist. So good story there. Now globally, Twitter says you can work from home forever. Twitter's decision, this is BBC, Twitter's decision to allow staff to work from home forever is sending ripples around the business community. Many have predicted other tech firms will follow suit, and one data innovation expert even called it era-defining news. Some people may not take this too seriously as it is Twitter, but we can learn a lot from Silicon Valley about workplace flexibility, said New York-based Sri Vinsan, a professor at Stony Brook University of Journalism.
Charlie, give me the Madagascar story.
So this is South Africa quickly. It says question marks around Madagascar COVID-19 miracle cure, and it says that scientists they've spoken to and experts they've spoken to say that they are not convinced that the claims being made, which is described as grand claims from the Malagasy, are verifiable. So they spoke to professors like Shabiru Madi, professor of vaccinology at University of Witwatersrand, and others who say that they do not think that the claims can be proved. Okay. So we will probably test it at FDA. So
everybody's testing.
Thank you, gentlemen. That was a newspaper review. The CBC News is up next. Stay with us.